Welcome to Face to Face. Our guest today is Abhaya Asthana. He is the president of World Hindu Council and one of the key organizers of Thread Conference 2019 in Boston. Abhayji, welcome to our show.
Namaste.
Namaste, and really appreciate your time. And we are looking forward to the conference on November 1, 2, and 3rd of November, a 3 days conference.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very exciting.
Good. So
Wonderful conference.
I'm here to hear about this. So let's first start with why Thread Conference?
Okay, interesting question. So the Thread Conference is about the Hindu-American saga.
Mm-hmm.
So we are trying to tell, in very simple terms, the Hindu-American story. And the theme for Threads is very simple. It's to share that story of ours. So Hindu-Americans have been coming here from all over the world, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Not just from India.
Sure.
From all over the world, there are Hindu-Americans right here in America.
Sure.
So it's a very comprehensive term, and we want to tell their collective story and the contributions that they have made to this land, where they have settled and adopted it as their land, and they have worked hard to make this place better. So that's one aspect of the conference, to share that story. The second one is to actually appreciate the fact that this land, America, they gave us the opportunity, all the opportunities, right, to come here and flourish and blossom and contribute to make America better. That's the second part of Threads. And the third part of Threads is actually more important, and that is to engage. Mm-hmm. To engage not just within the Hindu-American community, but with the larger American community, reach out to them. And it's about inclusion and collaboration. So we work together, engage with each other to create and shape the future of this land.
And everyone is invited to come and
to
come and attend.
Absolutely, everyone.
Okay. Now, so tell us a little bit about Thread Conference. I know it's a 3-day conference, and if you can just talk about some of the key topics which will be discussed in the sessions.
Yes, very good. So you see, it's an educational conference, a community conference, right? So the conference is organized to really make visible the collective successes of the Hindu Americans. See, individual successes we've heard about, right?
Sure.
All over, right?
Sure.
I mean, since Swami Vivekananda came, right, we've been hearing about individual success. But the story of collective success of the Hindu Americans is yet to be told. So that's what we are trying to do. So just to continue with that.
Sure.
So what we have chosen 8 major areas.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So one is technology and entrepreneurship. Another is business and commerce. Another one is education. And another one is medicine and biotech and pharmacy. And then we have public policy, public service and advocacy. We have philanthropy and service, seva. Mm-hmm. And then we have holistic living. And then we have art and architecture. So these are the 8 major areas that we have chosen. And you can see there are many sub-areas.
So many of us are very much familiar with which, like we have made contributions to, science and technology and life sciences. But I'm really intrigued by the last item you mentioned about architecture and art. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like art and literature, right? So
you said art and literature or art and architecture?
So in the broad sense, it's art, architecture, and literature. Right?
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yes,
sure.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the Hindu Americans have definitely made a contribution in arts, right? Fine arts, performing arts, music, dance, entertainment, right? They are authors, prize-winning authors.
Sure, absolutely.
Right? architects, right? Sculptors.
Talking about architects, I was surprised, here in Boston, there are about 4 or 5 big architectural firms, national international architectural firms, whose top principals are Indian Americans.
Yes.
And exactly, sure.
And then I met one of them, right?
Okay, sure.
At the Hindu Women's.
Sure. Okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, extremely talented people.
Sure.
And see, that collective story, right? I mean, people think, oh, Hindu Americans have done well in IT, or they've worked as professors.
That's what many know.
Physicians.
Yeah, sure.
So if you just take, for example, technology and entrepreneurship, right? So all aspects of engineering, all aspects of technology, right? The Hindu Americans have made a contribution. Entrepreneurship, I mean, I don't have to tell you, you're an entrepreneur yourself.
We follow them all the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, I mean, they've made contribution. Take medicine. So from fundamental research in medicine, right, to pharmaceutical industry, 128 belt, we just go around, right?
Sure.
I mean, there's so many pharmaceutical companies coming up, and probably many of them are being headed by.
So now that was my next question. That you guys have also pulled very amazing panel of speakers.
Yeah.
So if you can just talk some of who are some of those speakers.
Yes. So let me
okay,
share this with you.
Sure.
For example, you talked about art and literature. So that one is actually being moderated by a person you're very familiar with, Dr. Shekhar Shastri.
Yeah.
And the panelists in that session are some of the best. So we have Rachana Bados, we have Malati Iyengar. I'm sure people have heard about Phil Goldberg. I mean, he's written. And there is a young artist, Aishu Venkataraman, right? And then there is Aditi Banerjee. And all of them are either authors or artists. And so what are they going to discuss? And their topic, their theme is Ras Parampara, the pursuit of Indian arts and aesthetics in America. So their collective experience and all that is focused on discussing that particular subject. So similarly, for industry and commerce, Mukesh Agi, he's the moderator, right?
Sure.
And I'm sure you.
Yeah, of course, yes. So
they are going to talk about exploring opportunities in the U.S. India commercial relationship. The other session is.
So who are some of other speakers in that?
Yeah. So one is founder and chief Yogi Sareen, and there is the senior advisor financial services from US IPF, and we had Dilip Sundaram. He's coming. So and there were 2 others whose name is not here.
Okay, perfect.
So in public service and advocacy. Suhag Shukla, she's the moderator, and she's the founder and executive officer of Hindu American Foundation. So they are going to discuss ancient wisdom, modern applications, the emergence of Hindu Americans in the public square. So what we've tried to do is get like a broad coverage of some of the young, emerging political
now, do you have any number about Hindu Americans in the US or any data?
Yeah, so we have roughly between 3 and 4 million.
3 and 4 million?
Yeah.
Here in the United States?
In the United States of America. Yeah. The number varies depending on
depending on where you go.
But our figures tell us that it's between 3 and 4 million.
3 and 4 million. Okay, good.
So, I'll tell you about some other ones.
Yeah, let's hear about some other panels.
So, holistic living, it's another very interesting panel,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So, in holistic living, we try to get a whole spectrum of panelists. So, Ayurveda is one of the areas, and naturopathy.
Sure.
Then, spirituality and meditation is another panelist.
Which, by the way, being so popular here in the United States, anywhere you go there, you see some.
And then yoga
and
meditation is another one. Then another one is on naturopathy.
Mm-hmm.
Another really interesting person is Dr. Sailesh Rao.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the he's the founder and executive director of climate change.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, climate healers. That's his organization. That's what we call it, and it's all about climate change. I mean,
So, what is this climate healers? I'm just curious about that.
yeah. So his.
Oh, we have to come to the conference to listen to him.
You have to come to the conference to listen to him.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing person.
Mm-hmm.
He was at Stanford,
Mm-hmm.
professor. I mean, teaching there, professor. He left all of that, and then he joined. He started his own venture, right? Climate Healer, because he really believes that our planet is in danger,
Mm-hmm.
and if we don't change our ways, in the future for our coming generation doesn't look very good. So he's dedicated.
I think it was a very interesting topic to listen to, how to heal the climate, right?
I can
Sure.
So technology and entrepreneurship. So this one is moderated by someone that's very well known in our community here, Mukesh Chattar.
Sure.
And Jit Saxena.
Sure.
He's
I
one of the
mean,
key
I think
ones.
this panel actually looks amazing. It's basically who's who from this community here.
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
So the medicine and the biotech and pharmacy is being moderated by Dr. Udit Batra.
Mm-hmm.
And
Udit Batra, I interviewed him yesterday.
oh,
Actually.
excellent,
Yes.
excellent.
No, day before yesterday. Yes.
So Dr. Amar Sani, he's another
Sure.
very well-known
Sure.
person. He's going to be there.
Sure.
Dr. Rahul Singhvi is there. Dr. Rajiv Gupta from Harvard Medical School, he's there. Ganesh Kaundinya is there. And there are two very prominent, female panelists there. And Dr. Maha Radhakrishnan and Nisha Subramaniam.
Mm-hmm.
So Nisha ji is the partner at McKinsey, and Mahaji is the senior VP Global Head of Medical Primary Care Unit at Sanofi.
Sanofi, sure. That's a big life sciences firm. Yeah.
So another very special session is on the science of consciousness. Lessons from modern science and Vedanta. So that's headed by Dr. Subhash Kak and Dr. Ananda Venkataraman. But the panelists are extremely prominent people. So Dr. Rudy Tanzi, you might know him. He's a professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School. And then Professor Minas Karfatos. He's from he's a physicist from Chapman University. And Dr. Vinod Deshmukh. He's an MD, PhD from and a professor of neurology at University of Florida. So all of these people are very well versed in the Vedic sciences.
And they are coming from all over.
And they're coming from all over. And they're also extremely familiar with the technology and the science behind consciousness. So this
I think
will
it
be
will be also a very interesting topic to talk about the science of consciousness.
Yes. Yeah. So, for example, like when we were talking about medicine and biotech, so you'll be interested in knowing what are they going to talk about.
Sure.
So they're going to talk about the ethics of emerging life-saving therapies and technologies.
So now I think we give a very good overview of all the speakers and panels. My question to you as an organizer is that if all the attendees who are coming to attend the conference, it's a 3-day conference, what do you think, what is your goal is this would walk away with what type of message in their head?
Yeah. So that's a very good question actually. So you see this logo for threads?
Yeah.
So it's like a red, white, blue. The colors of the American flag.
Okay. Sure.
And then in between there's this eye in saffron. Right?
Okay. Sure.
So that sort of represents the color of like the Hindu American, right? And so the logo was very carefully chosen to actually represent what is it that we're trying to do with threads, which is to integrate ourselves into this community and to strengthen its fabric and to add texture and color and melody and song to the American music. So that's what the conference is about. And that is the message that I think all of us should take back. That we could be an inward focused society, but we don't want to be. I mean, this is our land. We work for this land. Our children are born over here. We want to live and die for this land, right? We want to do everything possible to make America better. We have a stake in its future and in its vision, and we want to take it to greater heights collectively, working with the entire, American community. So that's the message of Threads, to integrate and to strengthen this fabric.
So
if we can take this back with us and we work on it, now that's one thing we would like to do. The other is equally important, that we want to leave a record behind for our children, for our coming generations. I think our children should know what is it that you did, that I did, right? The grandparents did, right? Who came before us. How did they contribute? How did they struggle, right? And what legacy have they left behind for us? So they get inspired and they continue in that same journey with the same vigor. And
so all
the same passion as we have.
Sure. And all the proceedings of the conference will be recorded and somehow archived and all.
Yes. So, going back to your question, right?
Sure.
It's an educational conference, right?
Sure.
And we want to document everything. We want to leave this legacy behind, and hopefully, others after us will continue to get inspired. So this is not the first.
Yeah, that's why my next question is, so do you think this will become like an annual or biannual type of biannual?
Because it takes a lot.
Absolutely.
To do it every
the number
year.
of speakers you have is just, I don't know how you get them, but it's an amazing panel of speakers.
So hopefully we'll do it every other year.
Okay.
And we'll rotate around the country.
Different parts of the country.
So there'll be new teams, new ideas.
Sure.
It'll evolve.
Sure.
Definitely evolve. Right?
Okay.
And all these young people who are coming.
So now other thing, earlier you
forward.
mentioned that one of the mission is to really do whatever the community can do for America, because of course here we live and here children are growing up, they're going to stay here. So one thing I have noticed, as an observer of the community, that there are a lot of philanthropic efforts by Indian Americans here in the U.S. But most of those programs are geared towards what is happening in India.
Yes.
Do you have any plan or anything so that some charity or philanthropic activities is really focused here in the U.S.?
So, Benji, you asked such a wonderful question, because
Sure.
that's one of the sessions on Sunday. It's service and philanthropy. And I think you asked the right question, right? So the theme for that session is knowing your motivation, the thoughtful, effective, joyful philanthropist. So and that's a very not well-known thing. Hindu Americans are generally thought of, oh, these people don't give to charity, okay? But actually that's not true. In the last several years, the Hindu Americans have contributed billions of dollars to philanthropy, and you know that.
Sure.
And that's not to things that are happening in India, things that are happening right here in America. And that's one of the things we wanted to get across. And as part of that whole focus on this land, right? Making it better. Because our children get inspired and excited when we do things for America.
Sure,
Right
absolutely,
here,
absolutely,
right?
sure.
So there is a lot of philanthropic work, lot of seva, service work that can be done right here in America. And that is what our children would like us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the messages we want to get across through threads. That let's do that. Right? Same thing with like education, right?
Sure.
We can worry about education in far off lands, and we should.
Mm-hmm.
We should, okay?
Sure.
But there is a lot we can do to improve the educational system right here in this country. We have a stake in the vision for the future and the vision for the education of our children in the future, right? And we should do everything that's possible to make that happen.
Excellent. Abhaya, thank you very much for your time. And it was a pleasure talking with you, and all the best for the conference.
And I would like to thank you
for
giving me this opportunity
absolutely.
To have this conversation.
It's a great conversation, and I think you are doing, your organization is doing absolutely fantastic job by putting this conference. Now, before I go, I have to ask you, how did you get involved into this organization, and where do you get your own passion to promote this cause?
So let me ask a clarification question, right? So in this organization for threads or as part of World Hindu Council?
As a part of World Hindu Council.
Yeah. So the World Hindu Council, we got involved because we got inspired by what my parents were doing back in India. And they've always taught us, and you know that, right? Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, right? Sarve sam shastir bhavantu. I mean, you want to live your life, not just for yourself, but for others. And any joy that you can get by serving others is the best possible source of happiness and joy that one can have. And that's what's been motivating me all my life.
Now
to keep Hindus as Hindus in America and help our children, retain their tradition and their heritage, and feel that it's valuable, it's precious.
Now I have to ask you this question. Sorry, I'm taking more time here now. So, which year did you come here to US?
So I came here in 1970.
1970, and where did you come?
So I graduated from IIT Kanpur.
Okay. So you must have been one of the first students of IIT Kanpur, or not?
No, actually, I was in the fifth batch.
Fifth batch, okay.
The first batch was in 65.
Okay. So you got the IT degree from Kanpur.
Yeah.
And then?
Then I came here to school in the south, Tulane University, and did my PhD from there. And then after that, I joined Bell Laboratories.
Okay.
I've been with Bell Labs ever since.
Ever since, yes. Excellent.
So I just love doing research.
And then you do this community service.
The only two things I do, right? I love my research and I love working with children and the community.
Excellent. Again, Abhaya, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.